welcome to New Berlin, New York, and the historical Unadilla GNCC. Jason, this is the first time we've ever ran an off-road race here at Unadilla.
Yeah, that's right. This is big time. Unadilla, a lot of history. They've been running motocross races here since 1968, but today is the first time anyone's ever going to take to the woods.
And also a first for Bill Balance as he is returning after an injury.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Bill Balance has not missed a GNCC in 14 years, but he missed the last one with a broken leg. He's going to try to race today. He is your championship points leader, trying to win 6 consecutive titles. It's going to be tough for Bill.
Well, we're wrapping up the morning race right now. Let's head on over to the start for our pro race right now.
Down on the starting line now with the inaugural race of the Unadilla Valley Sports Center GNCC. It's ATV racing, and that rider right there, William Yoakley, going for his second win of this 2005 season. Hasn't seen top of the podium since Loretta Lynn's. This guy right here has never seen the top of the podium, but he is having his best racing season in this 2005 season. The number 9 of Brandon Balance also showing glimpses of greatness here in 2005, his best season as of yet, and his last race was also his best here in the 2005 season. As we take a look there, there's the number 7 of Chris Jinks, who was, well, not even podium potential a year ago, and has now already secured 1 win on this 2005 season. Matt Smiley still looking for his first win of the 2005 season on that Polaris Predator, and Chris Borge, the rider that a lot of folks thought was going to dethrone Bill Balance for this 2005 championship, has had his struggles coming back off that broken collarbone, actually riding quite well and quite strong, and actually a little stronger than Bill Balance as we head into this Unadilla race. The number 3 of Chris Borge, will he be able to capture a win here today? And there's the man as you see him working on that left leg, trying to get that boot tightened down. That is Bill Balance with the broken ankle. As we get set to go racing, let's head on down and talk to our trail buff, Jeff Russell, about the conditions here at Unadilla.
It's going to be awesome. The woods up here are just beautiful. It's real loamy, a lot of pine trees and stuff. It'll probably rut out a lot, but the ground's so soft, it'll be really good.
Think they'll be able to handle the motocross section?
Oh yeah, they should be able to handle it. Actually, they're probably really excited about it. That'll probably be the easiest part. It's easier than the woods.
And that is for sure the Unadilla Valley Motorsports motocross track. Supposedly the easiest part of this trail. We'll just find out as row number 1, our pro riders are getting set to go and kick off the 2005 Unadilla GNCC. As the kickstarts go down, Bill Balance is going to grab the early lead in his first race back. He gets the whole shot here at Unadilla. Back in second, the battle wages on, and that looks like possibly William Yoakley battling it out with Chris Borge for the number 2 spot. Brandon Balance back in 4th place aboard that number 9 machine. As let's take a look at that FMF Whole Shot Award and see exactly how Bill Balance got her done this time around, who's grabbed nearly every hole shot in the 2005 season that he's been racing. As you can see, just got off to a great start, had a great pick on the line there as it was a straight shot into turn number 1, and it's basically jockeying for position behind Bill Balance from this point on as the man is in command. As we head down the road number 2 now, our Pro-Am division, and they're off and rolling as we can see. Once again, riders getting off to a great start. That looked like the number 63 quite possibly in that Pro-Am division. Scott Barron grabbing the early lead, who is running second in points in this 2005 season of the Pro-Am division. That's row number 2 off and rolling now as we head down to row number 3 now. Row number 3 is our 4-stroke A division. 4-stroke A kickstarts down in through turn number 1 now, and our 4-stroke A begins to jockey for position to see who is going to capture the early lead. That looks like it might be the 847 of Taylor Kaiser out of Alva, Florida, grabbing the early lead in this 4-stroke A division. Very dry and dusty conditions to kick this race off, at least out in the field sections. You got to wonder, what are the woods like out there? Jeff Russell said it was very soft out there. We'll get a look at that in just a few moments. Right now, it's row number 4, the Open A, off and rolling through turn number 1. What's to watch out for here in the Open A division? 768 Craig Reed, the 909 of Mike Carter, and also the 111 of Cliff King, all threats to win this race here at the Unadilla Valley Sports Center. And that's row number 4, and tough break for that, riders. We head down to row number 5, the vet class now. These riders are all at least 30 years of age or older. Riders to watch out for here, 375 Brian Davis out of West Union, West Virginia. Also the 155 of Jeff Brest out of Illinois. And the 330 of Thomas Wright. He's out of Tabernacle, New Jersey. As these riders make their way through turn 3 now and into the heart of Unadilla. They are heading for the wooded section now. As you can see, a lot of riders down there on the road, about 30 of them, trying to work their way through those first 3 turns. Row number 6, our junior division. Junior division having only about 16 riders in it, but very competitive. as we'll be looking for Timothy Gale aboard the number 53. Also, Peter Stadmuller, the number 70, a threat in this junior division. Row number 6 here at the Unadilla Valley Sports Center. The Unadilla GNCC, again, round number 11 of our Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship. Row number 7, senior class, as well as our two-stroke A and B. Not a lot of two-strokes out there, so we throw the A and B riders together, and there you see it all the way through turn 2, now heading down to row number 3, our two-stroke A and B riders. That looks like Kenneth Campbell, the number 703, maybe even the 97 of Curtis Walraven, out front in the two-stroke A-B division, and that's a dying class for obvious reasons there. Row number 8, four-stroke B, now into turn number 1, the first of our B classes. 231, Mike Howe is the one to watch out for out of Woodsfield, Ohio. Also Donald Ackerman, number 986 out of Marshall, Illinois, and the number 919 of Adam Mollett out of New Concord, Ohio. Also very competitive four-stroke B riders here at the Unadilla Valley GNCC. And as you can see, some riders getting together. That's going to throw a monkey wrench into some of these guys' plans, including that number 275 there we see trying to work his way out of that last turn last there off the start. Down to row number 9, the open B division. 22 riders in this particular division as they work their way through that second turn now, and already looks like an early lead is being established. Can't tell. That might be the 426 of Gabe Phillips. Also the 432 of Nathan Walpe is a threat to be reckoned with here in the open B division at Unadilla. Also watch out for the 917 of Tim Allen and the 99 of Dustin Piggott as we go down to row number 10, the sport class. And only 6 riders in this particular division, but one of the more competitive ones because these guys are also tight-knit in this particular division. Looks like the 776 of Joseph Papa out of Edgemont, Pennsylvania may have grabbed the early lead. Also watch out for the 160 of Tom Barbowitz and the 568 of Stephen Mitchell. As we head out through the pits now here on lap number 1. And Bill Balance, fresh from injury, holding on to the lead with Michael Houston, number 11, back in the number 2 spot as these riders continue to knock on the door. Each rider trying to reel in the number 1 of Bill Balance, but at the 3.5-mile marker, Bill Balance continues to hold on to the lead. And you can see not a lot of dust being kicked up in the woods, at least as of right now. And this is one of the tighter sections of woods that we'll see here at the Unadilla Valley Sports Center. That is actually an old railroad bed. Those old railroad ties actually rotting beneath these riders with a lot of grass and dirt and stuff over top of them. So this particular section of the race course is going to get worse and worse and worse as the day wears on. Yoakley in second, Brandon Balance in third, and Chris Jinks back in the number 4 spot aboard the number 7. And we talked with him earlier.
Consistency. Nothing's changed. You got to do the same thing week in and week out. Got to keep track of Gorge and Smiley and everybody that's here. Just got to get that lead pack. Got to get a whole shot. Williams going to be up there. Just keep track of them and be there at the end. Just ride smooth.
Sounds like that Chris Jinks has his game plan intact once again here for Unadilla. And this Unadilla GNCC, as we look a little further back in the pack, there's the number 5 Ampro Yamaha rider of Chad Duval. Number 13 there was Todd Nippenberg as we once again check a little further back in the pack because, again, this section of the track here at the 3.5-mile marker is going to do nothing but deteriorate as the day wears on. That's your Pro-Am leader, number 63, Scott Barron out of New Cumberland, West Virginia, as he opens things up. And Bill Balance continues to lead. And we had a chance to talk with Balance earlier before this race.
Well, it was not so fun. Just was out doing some photos, wasn't even on the racetrack, and done a jump and had to kick the bike away from me, come down and landed on my feet, and broke my tibia bone in my leg and crushed my ankle. So it's pretty painful, and the last few weeks hadn't been too good, but we're going to come out here today and try to get some points, and just, I'm going to have to sit on the seat a whole lot today and not be able to stand up a lot, but we're just going to try to get a good start and ride looking behind us, trying to block the lines, and just try to get out there and get some points today, and try to hold on to this championship.
Bill Balance, a very realistic, optimistic, as he is hoping to do well here. He knows that he has just got to fight to hold on to the points lead in order to secure this championship. And right now, it's more than just holding on to the points lead. He is actually holding on to the overall lead as we see the number 8 of Jeremy Rice now working his way up through the pack. The number 3 of Chris Borich also still within the hunt as we head out onto the Unadilla motocross track. This is the Gravity Cavity as these riders make their way through the famed Gravity Cavity here at the Unadilla Valley Sports Center. Balance still out front as back in the number 2 spot. I believe that is still Rice aboard the number 8. as the battle is on for third place. Brandon Bounds, Chris Jinks, and the entire field of ATV riders trying to make their way through. Look at that dust cloud at the bottom of that hill. Those riders supposed to make a hard right-hand turn out of that gate, and you've seen a lot of dust kicking up. Well, that's because some riders not actually able to make the stop and make the turn, so we see a lot of dust kicking up there at the bottom as this race progresses, especially through the first part of our pro riders, as they were just basically blitzing that hill, expecting quite possibly a hard left-hand turn is what the motocross track does. But this is a GNCC portion of it, so we go right off the track and right back out into the woods as we head out near the 6-mile marker now. And Bill Balance with the crushed ankle, 11 screws and 2 plates, continues to hold on to the lead as he makes his way through. We're talking about at the 3.5-mile marker how tight things were. Well, look here at the 6-mile marker. We can see that things are beginning to open up just a little bit. Here's a field section also leading into one of those wood sections, and check that out. Muddy conditions right out in the middle of nowhere. These riders have the choice of either going left there through the thick, heavy mud or going right a little bit longer. It's a shortcut for those riders if they go through the mud. But as the day wears on, that is going to basically deteriorate in that muddy section of the race course. We're out near the 7.25-mile marker here on checkpoint number 2. This is lap number 1, and Brandon Balance seems to be fading off the pace just a little bit, but holding steadily, not too far off the pace of the main front pack there. This race still very tight. Johnny Gallagher checking through the checkpoint there aboard the 18. There's Andy Langston's aboard the number 14 machine. He is trying to work his way into possibly a top 10 secure position. Out near the 7.5-mile marker now, it is Bill Balance with a freight train right behind him. And amazingly, that rider is holding on to the position, especially with the pain that he must be going through and riding with after only breaking that leg only a handful of weeks ago. Again, screwed together, plated together. It's amazing that Bill Balance is even out on the race course, let alone leading the race early on here at the inaugural running of the Unadilla GNCC. There's the number 69 machine. It's Tom Barrett. He is a New York native just outside of the top 10 as we open things up here on lap number 1. Now to Yamaha Hemlock Hill, the Yamaha factory rider of Bill Balance out front with Houston in second. That's the number 6 of Cook in third, and Chris Jinks in fourth. Back in fifth, the number 2 of William Yoakley. 6 was the number 9 of Brandon Balance. They are also still in the top 10, the number 18 of Johnny Gallagher, and the number 16 of Santo DeRisi out of North Carolina. He's no stranger to the hills, just throwing a few more rocks, and I think that he would actually be a little more comfortable. There's the New York native once again, Tom Barrett, working his way around Hemlock Hill. Jeremy Rice opened up to a strong ride, but drops outside the top 10 now here on lap number 1. Andy Lags is also just outside the top 10 aboard that number 14. Again, we made mention that he is running his best ever racing series here in the 2005 season. He's been doing this for about 10 years now. Number 14 was his best number up to this point, but he looks like he might be going for an overall top 10 as far as the point standings is concerned. As we take a look at that nearing the end of this 2005 season. More of our riders checking in. We have some pro riders, but also pro-am riders off road number 2 now making their way up and around Hemlock Hill. There's the number 20 of Kim Coonley out of Newberry, Ohio. We haven't seen a whole lot out of Kim this year, but good to see Kim still making his way around this GNCC circuit as more of our pro-am riders are now making their way by. And some pro riders again mixed in there. Thought we saw the number 66. That's Adam Mcgill. He's out of West Union, West Virginia. Believe it or not, he's a little further back in the Pro-Am division right now, but he is the man that we're looking for to win the Pro-Am division. And after this race, once he secures things, he plans on moving in to the pro ranks from the Pro-Am division. So good luck to you, Adam Mcgill, aboard the number 66, as we continue to watch riders make their way through here on the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. And you can see that's a rather tricky section of the race course. A little bit off camber, and on the right side of these ATVs as they continue to go by, a lot of wheel spin coming off of that right tire. Well, that's digging the lower side down even more and causing these riders to nearly tip over, as you see right there. And it's just maybe a 15-foot section of racetrack, but it is very tricky. As you can see right there, that rider falls victim to the off camber here at the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. He's going to be okay, but he holds up traffic. Let's take a look at that one more time, just how simple of a rollover that was in our Yamaha replay. Here comes our rider now, as you can see, just barely gets out of balance and rolls right on over. And fortunately for him, there's a big berm on the lower side so he doesn't go tumbling down the hill and causing even more problems for himself here on the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. And that's going to be trickier and trickier as the day wears on. Taking a look now at our Suzuki leaderboard, Bill Balance out front after one, Mike Houston in second, Brian Cook in third, Chris Jinks in fourth, and William Yoakley rounds out the top 5. Thanks to our Suzuki leaderboard and more of our riders making their way through here on Hemlock Hills. We move out just past the finish line region now. This is the non-rhythm uphill section. It's an uphill whoop section that has absolutely no rhythm to it whatsoever. Bill Balance making his way by. Also the number 11 of Houston still knocking on the door back there. We have no change through our top 5. Yoakley still in 5th. Back in 6th place, it's the number 23 of Brian Baker out of Missouri, having what looks like the best race of his 2005 Suzuki GNCC career. And back a little further, number 16 of DeRisi, also the number 18 of Johnny Gallagher, working their way up the non-rhythm section here, back onto the motocross portion of this race course. Again, about the quarter-mile marker, about 2/10, a little more than 2/10 of a mile, just past the finish line. We're on lap number 2 now, and we'll watch some more of these riders work their way up this section of the race course to see just exactly how tricky it can be. Here comes the number 5 of Chad Duval, who appears to be struggling here today. Tough break for him on the M-Pro Yamaha, but we've seen definitely better days out of Chad Duval, but the important thing is Chad just keeps on keeping on, and that's what we like to see out of that number 5 machine. Pit row here on lap number 2 now as Balance continues to hold on the lead. We can see things start to stretch out as Houston and Balance go 1 and 2 through the pits. No stops this time around as the action heats up. Back for 3rd place also the number 6 of Cook being challenged by his teammate, the number 7 of Jinks. And still rounding out the top 5. A little miscue there by the number 2 of William Yoakley, but he holds on to 5th. 6th now, Brandon Balance. 7th place now, the number 23. Again, that's Brian Baker out of Missouri. The 18 machine back in 7th place. That's Johnny Gallagher in 8th place. The number 16 of Santo DeRisi checking in through the pits. None of these riders stopping this early on in the race. 9th place position, the 69 of Tom Barrett as he breaks into the top 10 now. And he blasts through pit row. A hard left-hand turn and right back into the wooded section out here near the 1 mile marker. Rounding out the top 10, number 24 there, Rhett Butler. And right behind him, the number 14 of Andy Lagston is dropping just outside the top 10 now in an 11th place position. So we took a little further back into the pack. The 59 machine of Brian Halsey, a rider we haven't seen a whole lot of this year out of Washington, Missouri, riding that Yamaha, keeping on the pace with the top 12 or so. Tough break there for the number 8 of Rice. Rice started out so strong here at Unadilla, but has continually faded back through the pack as this race has worn on. Josh Ripley from the Pro-Am division also checking in with us. He's running back in 2nd place aboard that number 29 machine. There's the number 19 machine. That's Rob Hertz, also a Pro-Am rider, as he appears to be closing the gap a little bit on those pro riders. There's 39 of Jeff Pickens from the Pro-Am division and the 13 of Todd Nippenberg, who appears to be slipping out of the top 10 in our pro division. And there is Chris Boric. We had reports early on that Boric there on lap number 1 clipped the tree, and it looks like he has done that and is basically unable to turn that machine as he has a broken A-arm. You can see it hanging off the left side of the machine there. Tough break for Boric, and any opportunities or hopes that he might have had for a 2005 Suzuki GNCC championship has just flown out the window as the Alba Action Sports crew gets to work and try to get him back out at it. Let's stop down and check in with Jason Wygant.
The big question today was how Bill Balance would do, but now the pressure is on Chris Boric and the Alba Action Sports team. A broken tie rod on the very first lap. He is way back. They're working feverishly to try to get him back out there, but the damage is already done. If Balance can hold on and score just a couple of points today, this title chase could be completely over for Chris Boric.
That's exactly right, and I believe that that Chris Borch knows that. And that rider right there, a rider that was possibly looking for a win today on that Polaris Predator, finds himself out. He has clipped a tree and has injured a shoulders. We see Matt Smiley moving slowly in his pits. Chris Borch is not moving slowly out in his pits as he is trying to get that left A-arm replaced, and he is right in the thick of things there at the Alba Action Sports crew. His dad, his brother, and his mechanic all working on that machine trying to get it to go. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and check in with our Suzuki Pro Tip of the Week.
I'm here with William Yoakley in our Suzuki Pro Rider Tip of the Week. And this week, we're going to tackle the tight technical woods of Unadilla. How do you go about that, William?
Well, the way I usually go with that, Rodney, is that first of all, you got to be pretty calm and collective in the woods. You know, you got to keep your eyes open, sort of look down the trail. There's a lot of roots and rocks and stuff out there, you know, pretty tough obstacles. I just kind of try to keep my RPMs low and a good smooth momentum, you know, and like I said, just relax and keep a good wheel speed going with low RPMs. And it's pretty similar to riding in the mud and stuff. You just got to use your head, you know, and like I said, keep your eyes open because you're going at such high speeds through there and all the sticks flying up and a lot of little things that catches your tires and throws you around. So you just kind of got to stay loose on the bike, but yet be aware of everything. And body positioning and RPMs is a pretty big deal out here in the woods. So like I said, just mainly just be smart and keep your eyes open and just watch all obstacles and just kind of just keep rolling smooth, because when you're all tense in the woods, anything can throw you off, and with those tight trees, there's no room for mistakes.
And that's your Suzuki Pro Rider Tip of the Week.
Picking the action back up here on lap number 2 out near the 1.5 mile marker, and a lot of things have taken place just in one lap of racing. Borch broke an A-arm and Matt Smiley out of the race, but these guys right here are in the race, and this is where the race is. Balance out front, the number 11 of Michael Houston holding on to second place. This has been by far his best race of this 2005 season. Back in third, it's William Yoakley as he moves up a couple spots. Fourth place, the number 9 of Brandon Balance, and rounding out the top 5 now is that number 23 of Brian Baker, as Baker appears to be moving up through the pack. There's the 18 of Johnny Gallagher, the 16 of Santo DeRisi, and that number 69 machine, Tom Barrett, right here out of the New York area, working his way up through the pack. He is well into the top 10 now after that first lap of racing and a mile and a half of this second lap here at the Unadilla GNCC, his home state of New York. He is doing quite well. There's the 66 of Adam Mcgill trying to work his way up through the pack in that Pro-Am division. Also the number 63 of Scott Barron, as it looks like Barron may have dropped off to second place in that division of the Pro-Am riders off of row number 2. Lap 2, about a mile and a half down the trail. We're at the 3-mile marker now. This is just past the first checkpoint there, and check that out. Very nasty, and it's going to wall around as the day wears on. We'll stop into the pits now and check in with Chris Borch to find out what's going on.
It was about a 3.5 mile marker going through the woods following Bill, and just tapped the tree and broke a front spindle. A little bit, but what are you going to do? They're brand new bike, and some things just don't go through the factory right, so.
Tough break there for Chris Borch, and don't know if the factory had anything to do with that thing breaking. Tapping a tree at the speeds these guys go can probably break that with it being a bad or good part. It doesn't really matter at that point. Out near the 3.5 mile marker once again, as we can see here on lap number 2, how much more rugged it is to get through this tight section of the race course. And another thing to point out is if these riders get off too much either side of this railroad bed, there's a swamp, and these riders could get tangled up in that, and it could create some problems, as we saw that happening earlier this morning in our amateur race, as you'll watch on this DVD. If you check that out, there's some pretty gnarly sections there at the 3.5 mile marker. There goes the number 9 of Brandon Balance, trying to hold on to a top 10 spot as we head back out near the 4.5, actually near the 5 mile marker now. It's the Gravity Cavity on this famed Unadilla motocross course, and there's second place rider, new second place rider, the number 6 of Brian Cook. Chris Jinks has moved out front as dropping off to third, actually moving up to third now, the number 2 of William Yoakley, and dropping back to a 4th place position. There's the number 1 of Bill Balance, finding some sort of problem out there. The number 5 spot belonging to the 23 of Brian Baker, and right behind him, former second place rider number 11, Michael Houston. There's your leader out near the 7 mile marker now. Chris Jinks in second. There he is again. Brian Cook, as we're out near this second checkpoint now, and Cook making his way through, and it looks like he's beginning to stretch things out. Whatever happened out there on the race course has separated our riders. William Yoakley running third. Fourth place there is Balance still on the rear wheel of the number 2 of Yoakley, as he was well within striking distance of the podium here at Unadilla late in lap number 2. There is the number 23. That again, Brian Baker in a top 5 ride, and rounding out the top 5, the number 11 of Michael Houston. Houston, again, riding his best race of this 2005 season. There's Brandon Balance right behind Houston now aboard that number 9 machine. Michael Houston, again, was running his best race, found whatever problem Bill Balance found, and they both fall off the pace. Now out near Hemlock Hill, Yamaha's Hemlock Hill with our leader, Chris Jinks, nearly going over. I told you that was going to eat out a little bit more and cause these riders to get more and more off camber there, but that big berm at the base of it's the only thing I think keeping those riders up. There goes the number 6 of Cook. Again, that second place rider. This is the 8.5 mile marker, the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. There's new third place rider number 1, Bill Balance. He's got around that rider right there, the number 2 of William Yoakley. Yoakley up onto daredeviling it across Yamaha Hemlock Hill. There is Baker. There is Houston, the number 11 machine, still riding strong. The number 9 of Brandon Balance, well within striking distance of the podium, it appears, here at the 8.5 mile marker. Meanwhile, our leaders have made it to the finish line region, and there's your second place ride, the number 6 of Brian Cook. As we take a look at our Suzuki leaderboard after 2 laps, it's Chris Jinks, Brian Cook, Bill Balance up to 3rd, William Yoakley in 4th, and Brian Baker rounding out your top 5 here at the Unadilla GNCC. We're heading into lap number 3 now, and the action is going to intensify as this inaugural running of the Unadilla GNCC is underway. Believe it or not, 1968, 1969, those were the years that they ran off-road racing here. It has been that long since we've seen this kind of racing. It's been motocross since then, but it has not been this kind of racing right there. As you see our leader going through the pits, number 7 of Jinks. There's the number 6 of Cook running in the number 2 spot as he stops into the pit stops here on lap number 3, and he is going to take a little fuel, no drink, no goggles, no gloves, as he gets right back into the racing action. And we've got 2 of our Mickey Dunlap 4-stroke tech riders out front. Let's head on down to the pits and talk to their team manager, Mike Benson.
Yeah, Brian's out in second. Chris is up front. Chris had a good race last time. Brian's been coming on here. He's got his bike working good. Brian's pushing real hard. He was able to come in and get gas that time and be able to still stay in second place, so he'll probably put some pressure on Chris here before the day's over.
I tell you what, that 4-stroke tech team has really risen to the occasion here in this 2005 season. What's going on there with Bill Balance? Looks like broken goggles, and those goggles are going on upside down. Check that out. They put on a pair of broken goggles, and then upside down, and Bill Balance loses loads of time there. That could take him right off the podium, especially if it takes him out of it mentally there. As we head out near the quarter-mile marker, the uphill whoop section, the non-rhythm section, as we called it, here on lap number 3. There goes your leader, Chris Jinks, the number 7. Here comes the number 6 of Brian Cook. He did stop in for a little fuel, a quick splash of gas, and it looks like he is trying to reel in his teammate, the number 7 of Jinks, who has already scored a win in this 2005 season, looking for win number 2 here today at the Unadilla Valley GNCC. As we head back to 3rd place, it is still Bill Balance aboard the number 1, and a tough break for him in the pit stops. Broken goggles, then they put the goggles on upside down, and you got to wonder what's going through the champ's mind right now. I broke my leg, and now my pit crew can't get it right. Out near the 1.5 mile marker, there goes your leader, the number 7 of Jinks, back in second, still the number 6 of Cook, and some lap traffic beginning to move in between our lead riders here. Could be an advantage for the number 7 of Chris Jinks. We'll just have to wait and see whether or not the number 6 of Cook can work his way through. Here comes Balance once again aboard the number 9. This is Brandon Balance. As we look a little further back in the pack, Balance is actually up to 4th place. The number 2 of Yoakley has dropped off to 5th place as Brandon is working his way up through the pack. In 6th place, the number 11 of Michael Houston a lap ago was on the rear wheels of the champ. The number 1 of Bill Balance. Right there is the number 23. That is Brian Baker out of Missouri. He's running strong race here at Unadilla, and there is the champ, Bill Balance. That's the lost time that we saw him suffer there in that pit stop with the goggles going on upside down, the goggles actually breaking. It just took him completely out of the race, it looks like, as we head out near the 2.5 mile marker now. Things starting to tighten up there for Yoakley as he appears to be putting on some pressure, as Houston looks like he may be fading back just a little bit as this race wears on. But while he fades back, this rider right here is closing the gap. Brian Baker on the assault, trying to work his way into a solid top 5 position. As we check back a little further, that's the number 1 of Bill Balance. Appears to be fading here late in the race. Bill Balance, remarkable that he's even out there the way that he has that broken leg. Again, 11 screws, 2 plates, and a lot of pain here at the Unadilla GNCC. But the champ trudges on. As we check back out front with our leaders now, the number 7 of Chris Jinks out near this 3-mile marker, and what we expected to be a little bit more wallowed out and actually muddier than what it actually is. It is very, very rough through there, but these riders appear to be able to work their way through without actually getting stuck. It's just a matter of being able to hold on to the quad as they go through there. There goes Brandon Balance, and of course with Chris Jinks out front, let's go ahead and take a look at our Moose Rider profile, as Chris Jinks is the man of the week.
Actually, I started riding when I was probably in 4th grade. I was 7 or 8 years old, whatever age that is. My first race was a District 11, I think in 2000, on I think it was a Banshee. I actually started out racing on a 99 Banshee, and quickly figured out that's not what I wanted for the woods. In 2001, I bought, I think it was an 88 250R. A guy back home, I got it off him, started racing it, and as soon as I started racing at the local race, I started winning automatically at the locals. And my first national was the Big Buck in South Carolina in 2001. I think I ended up getting 2nd or 3rd, and I think 18th overall. And from there, everything just keeps on progressing. Each year I've been 9, 13 to 31 to 13 to 7, and now I'm working on hopefully 4, 3, I don't know. Depends on how the rest of the year goes, but that's where I came from. I'm 27 right now. I'd like to go hopefully 10 years, but realistically, 5 more years, this is going to beat you up pretty bad. As long as I can financially afford it, that's probably what's going to determine how long I race. I work full-time. This is just more or less my hobby until people step up and provide me some benefits to do this full-time. But you know, I might ride once or twice a week, if that. Basically, I got to work 45, 50 hours a week, work on a bike, and then try to come here on the weekend and race. That's why I'm always late getting here, but just the way it is. You gotta be able to afford to come. I sort of like being the quiet guy. That's sort of the one that nobody expects too much out of. Just the sneaker, I guess. Just somebody that minded his manners, I guess. Not the guy that goes around talking all the trash. Just a good hard rider that did his best and left it all on the track.
Picking the action back up near the 5-mile marker out here by Gravity Cavity once more, and a good look there at what Chris Jinks is all about. Meanwhile, we see how his riding goes. Working his way through lap traffic, we've seen the number 7 on the outside there. The number 6 of Brian Cook also still back in 2nd place, and looks like Brandon Balance may be moving up to that number 3 spot. And there's 4th place ride, the number 2 of William Yoakley. So obviously Balance, Brandon is moving up while his brother is fading back through the pack. Tough break for Bill Balance. But again, just amazing that Balance is even out here with the condition that ankle is in. It takes a real champ to know that you've got to be out there each and every race, regardless of what it's all like as far as pain is concerned. And Balance is riding through the pain as we check in on Yamaha Hemlock Hill here on lap number 3. Baker still laying chase to the number 7 of Chris Jinks. There's the number 9 of Brandon Balance still in 3rd. Yoakley still in 4th. Aboard the number 2 is not a lot of changes, at least through our top 4 out here near the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. As we end lap number 3 out near the 9.5-mile marker. Let's take a look at our Suzuki leaderboard once more to find out how it's all breaking down. Chris Jinks out front, Brian Cook, the number 6 in 2nd, Brandon Balance in 3rd, Yoakley is 4th, and Michael Houston has worked his way back into a top 5. Out near the 1/4-mile marker on lap number 4. That means we've got 2 laps to go. Lap 4 of 5 here at the Unadilla GNCC. And there is your leader, the number 7 of Chris Jinks. Not far behind him, the number 6, his teammate Brian Cook. And there is the number 9 of Brandon Balance running in a 3rd place position, but still hot on his rear wheel. The number 2 of William Yoakley. Don't count him out just yet for a podium here at the Unadilla GNCC. A little further back, it looks like Bill Balance has made the pass on the number 11 of Michael Houston. These two continue their battle once again as they did earlier in the race. This time, it's for the 5th place position rather than 1st place. Also, Brian Baker, the number 23, back there in about a 7th place position as he rides that green Honda out of Knob Noster, Missouri. More riders checking in. This is some of our amateur riders. And this rider, lap number 4, finally getting back out into the race. Several positions down now. The number 3 of Chris Borch, who broke that tie rod at about the 3-mile marker on lap number 1. Tough break for him. But as we head out near the 5-mile marker here on lap number 4, a lot of things have taken place since Chris Borch broke that tie rod. As we see our new leader now, the number 6 of Brian Cook out front. The battle back there for 2nd place. That looks like the number 23 moving up through the pack now. Brian Baker has taken over 2nd, and the champ, Bill Balance, back in the number 3 spot, knocking on the door across Gravity Cavity. And now this Unadilla motocross track is, there's the number 11 of Michael Houston dropping off to 4th place, and that looks like lap traffic there as we check back to 5th spot. I believe that is the number 9 of Brandon Balance.
Well, in the aftermath of Bill Balance's injury, Chris Borch's bad luck, 4-stroke tech, Mickey Dunlap's team has taken this race by the throat. Running 1-2 out there, it is Brian Cook, Chris James going back and forth. Hard to keep up with who's leading this one because they are on identical orange quads. We'll see how it turns out when they come to the finish line as we near the white flag.
And yes, we do near the white flag, but before we get to the white flag, that off-camber section on the side of this hill at the 8.5-mile marker we call Yamaha Hemlock Hill. Brian Cook, our leader, makes his way through without much problem. There's some lap traffic having some problems as we're beginning to see more and more routes exposed here on the side of this hill, so you can see that it could force riders into mistakes, and as off-camber as this hill is, it could also take these riders right out of the race, and those two actually making it through okay. We've seen some actual congestion right here at this section of the race course just because one rider might tip over and there's so many people behind him that it causes problems. Balance up to 2nd place now for that number 1 Yamaha here at the Yamaha Hemlock Hill. As we check back for 3rd place, I believe that is still the number... That's actually the number 11 of Houston now moving up into a number 3 spot as we've got some changes. I thought that the number 23 Baker might be within striking distance and has been for the most part here late in the race. Don't count that number 23 machine out just yet as he has dropped off to 4th place. Some lap traffic between himself and 3rd, but he is well within striking distance. There's Brandon Balance running in 5th spot as we are at the end of lap number 4. These riders are going to be taking the white flag, the number 6 of Brian Cook. 1 lap to go, and this rider could be on his way to his first ever victory at this inaugural running of the Unadilla GNCC. Let's check in with that Suzuki leaderboard to find out how it's all breaking down with 1 lap to go now. Brian Cook out front, Bill Balance in 2nd, Michael Houston is 3rd, Brian Baker in 4th, and now rounding out your top 5, Brandon Balance on another strong ride here at the Unadilla GNCC. Uh-oh, tough break for William Yoakley, as it looks like Yoakley is out of the race. Let's stop down and find out what exactly takes him out of this race today.
No, it's actually a pretty nice track. Had a pretty good race going. Kind of bummed out. Got stuck in the mud back there. I caught Cook and Jinx, and when I was right there, we was all there for the lead. And me and Jinx and Brandon Balance got all stuck in the mud there. And me and Balance got out. Brandon did, and I was rolling along. I don't know what position I was in, but doing in decent position and trying to come along and get the best finish I could. And I think my shifting fork broke bend or something. It's got locked in 3rd or 4th gear, and it just won't come out. And I barely could make it off the track, so I just was forced to pull off and take a DNF. That's all I could do.
A DNF is something you don't see beside the name of William Yoakley very often. You know he has got to be disgusted with the way things broke down for him. But, hey, he's a smart rider, and he'll be back, I'm sure, before the season's all said and done. Lap number 4, near the 2.5-mile marker, and the number 6 of Brian Cook is on his way to his 2nd ever overall win. He does have 1 win under his belt as a Pro-Am rider, actually winning from row number 2, but today this is going to be his first ever Pro-Class win. See if he can hang on to it with Balance back in 2nd. There's Borich, who is adding insult to injury. He is way down in the field of riders right now, just trying to score whatever he can on this track at Unadilla, but I don't think he's even going to be able to score any points whatsoever rough part of that racetrack there, a little off camber, so you can hear these riders screaming, making their way down the hill there, and actually looking at some of the lapped riders ahead of them, letting them know, hey, faster riders are coming through. Guys better get out of the way or we might run you over. There's the number 23 of Brian Baker. Baker hot on the gas. And look right behind him. The number 11 of Mike Houston, who was running second, dropped off the 6th, is back up into a 4th place position and a contender for the podium here. Back out at the 8.5, Hemlock Hill, and it takes its toll once more. Not only is it off camber, really tough to see by the camera angle here, but looks like that tree stump takes its toll on that rider as he pops it right up, and the dust fleas, if you will. Normally we call them mud fleas, but dust fleas here at Unadilla, considering the dry conditions, are quick to respond. Put that machine back on all 4 wheels so that rider can get right back into the race, and it's great to have those kind of spectators out on the race course. And, you know, that's what they stand out there for, not only to watch, but also to aid and assist our riders and help them in any way, shape, or form. That's what's great about GNCC racing and not only the racers themselves, but the crowd that comes out to watch, because they really put their all into it. There's the rider putting his all into it. The number 6 of Brian Cook, as we are nearing the completion of this race now. Cook is going to hang on to it aboard that number 6 machine and take the win. Meanwhile, we jockey for position back in 2nd and 3rd. The number 1 of Bill Balance holding on to 2nd, but he's got company. The number 23 of Brian Baker, who is racing to his first podium in quite some time aboard that number 23 Honda. Looks like he is challenging the injured champ for that 2nd place position. Will he be able to get around as we watch more of these riders make their way across Hemlock Hill? There's number 3 of Chris Borch, completely not a factor here. The checkers come out, and Brian Cook takes his 2nd ever win and his first in the pro class here at the Unadilla Valley GNCC, round number 11 of this Suzuki Grand National Cross Country Championship. And Brian Cook has got to be ecstatic. The folks at Mickey Dunlap's 4-stroke tech team have got to be ecstatic. It's been a great day all around for the entire team, as we'll be talking with these riders here in just a few moments on the podium. Right now, we're looking into the eyes and the face of a champion, our Unadilla GNCC champion. Let's take a look at the leaderboard, or should I say the winner's board. Brian Cook takes the win. Bill Balance holds on for 2nd. Brian Baker in 3rd. Brandon Balance in 4th. And Michael Houston rounds out the top 5.
I just had a really good day. I got a fairly good start at the beginning and just kept clicking away all day. And my axis shocks was just working awesome day, and my Lone Star components was soaking everything up. I just had a good day. Everything went good. I didn't make too many mistakes. Just kept clicking off, getting people here and there. And I caught Bill just starting into the last lap, and I was so excited to get on the podium, or hoped to get on the podium, that I didn't really try to get around him. I just stayed with him, and ended up getting a smooth last lap and came all the way in and got a podium.
Surprised, happy, and relieved. It was tough out there. It was a tough track anyway. It's a lot of real rough and beat you up a whole lot, but with not riding for 7 weeks and you know, the broken leg and ankle and everything, this is just awesome. I couldn't ask for no better. This is going to be big with the championship, and I think we if we haven't wrapped it up already, it's soon to happen. I think here in the next race or two. But the Yamaha worked great today, and I'm just relieved.
Yeah, it feels great, Jason. Just with all the problems we've struggled through, problems with the bike, getting all the new stuff dialed in, and finally got it, you know, and just great to be up here, and I'm glad we got 2 more to try to do it again with.
Well, Brian Cook, a very optimistic rider, and that's going to be a great boost of confidence for him. And what a race day here at the Unadilla GNCC. On behalf of Jason Wygant and Rachel Ayers, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying have a great day, everybody.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, riding, racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.